Hello, gentlemen and lady. I would have pluralized lady, but I feel that would be a bit presumptuous on my channel. So, if you do not follow me on Twitter, then that is a damn shame, because I am tweeting hellas good tweets. But seriously though, if you want to know when I'm taking questions and topics for videos, that's where you want to follow me. So yeah, and if not, no worries, I don't care. I'll just continue to answer other people's questions. But if you want in on this shit, man, you gotta get on the tweets. You gotta get on those tweets. So let's go. Let's check out my Twitter. See what people have been tweeting at me. Pro Scarface wants to know, what does it take to join Machinima in the UK or USA? I don't know anything about the UK. I would assume it's similar here in the US, but I mean, I just made videos for fun. I started back in like January 2010, I guess. Started making videos like commentaries back then. Then my first channel got pooped on, and so then I started making them again on my this channel that I have now. And then after a few months on that channel, I got a message from Machinima after I built up quite a following to be one of their directors. And so it wasn't like I really took the initiative and did anything. They contacted me. So I really don't know what to tell you, man. And I do know now that it's way harder to become a director now than it was back when I became one like a year and a half ago. So that's what I got to say about that. Sorry if that's not very helpful. And I really don't know anything about how the UK differs from here. But anywho, Mazdex23, talk about how YouTube has affected your life. YouTube really has affected my life in a huge way. Like, it's cool. It's really awesome that anytime I feel lonely or just like bored or something like that, there's always something for me to do. It's like having something in your back pocket at all times. Like, oh, I'm bored, I'll just get on YouTube. And the fact that I have videos on YouTube means I constantly have comments to read, I constantly have messages to go through, or I have something to do. Or I've met friends through YouTube, and so I have people to talk to on Skype or something of that nature. It's really cool. It was when I broke up with my girlfriend, I was really lonely and just kind of depressed for a while afterwards. And it was just, YouTube really kind of got me through that. It was just a really easy thing to have, and anytime I felt sad, I can make a video, talk about anything. It doesn't even matter what the hell I talk about. It can be an uplifting video or whatever, but just putting it out there and seeing positive feedback on it just makes you feel good about yourself. And you know, maybe that's really petty and narcissistic for me to just put up videos and then feel good about myself afterward, but it does make me feel good. It makes me feel like, yeah, people are legitimately enjoying this. That makes me feel worthwhile. And of course I realize consciously that it's absolutely absurd to base one's self-worth off of YouTube videos, but it makes you feel good. So that it's affected my life very positively for the most part. And as far as like the YouTube drama, like I've never gotten into that stuff, mainly because I mean, I'm not a huge channel, so it's not like people are trying to start shit with me because they know they're not gonna like get a big call from a big publicity office when they pick on me, because I'm just not that huge of a channel. But yeah, so anywho, Toaster, do you think that stereotypes have truth to them, or how do you feel about the whole thing? I mean, stereotypes by definition are just traits that are seen in a race, and then you exemplify it and apply it to everyone. So it's like me looking at Michael Jordan and saying, oh, Michael Jordan is black, Michael Jordan is good at basketball, therefore if you're black, you're good at basketball. Like, that doesn't make sense, and it's not true at all, but people tend to believe stuff like that. As far as most stereotypes, I think almost all of them are complete bullshit. Like, it seems as though stereotypes are started because you want to keep someone down and you want to oppress them and just kind of make fun of them like just passively. So I think most stereotypes are bullshit. Like, I've seen a lot of bad Asian drivers, but I mean, I sincerely doubt that like the rate of Asian driver accidents to Caucasian driver accidents or what have you is really that different. So yeah, I think most of them are BS. Next, who's Casper? If you could be any American president, who would you be, and what would you have done differently? I would have been Abraham Lincoln, and I would not have suspended, sorry, habeas corpus. So that would have been my decision, but I don't know. Picking a president that old, like living that far in the past, would suck. Like I've thought about this before. Like, would you rather be the richest man in 1910 or just middle class in 2012? And I'd rather be middle class in 2012, because even with all the money available, all the resources, everything that you could conjure up back in those days, you still couldn't even begin to touch the level of comfort that we have in our lives now. So that's always strange. So like, even the president of the friggin' United States would not be living as comfortable or as like, I don't want to say fulfilled of a life, because that's kind of ignorant, but it'd be crazy. I don't think that given my current knowledge of the comfort of 21st century technology, I could go back then. But idealistically, yes, Abraham Lincoln, habeas corpus. XJWattX. What if when we sleep, our brains get transported to another body in another world until we wake up? What if, man? What if? Well, that seems pretty ridiculous to me, because could you really call it your brain? Or I guess I don't know what you mean by brain. Like, I don't know if you mean that physically every time you go to sleep, a team of highly classified ninja surgeons sneaks into your room, removes your brain, keeps you on life support, and then takes the brain and then puts it in someone else's head, and then finds the time to take that brain out when that person goes to bed and bring it back to you before you're any the wiser and you wake up scar-free. So I don't think that's very feasible, sir. But if you just mean like supernaturally, like if your mind is transferred, like it wouldn't still be your consciousness. It wouldn't be your sense of being that was transferred, because like it's the same thing with kind of like reincarnation, you know, like what would, like, even if we were, quote, reincarnated when we died, I mean, it wouldn't be us. Like, unless I can remember my previous lives and learn from them and know my character, like, in its previous state, that's not really me. That's just a different, that's a different being altogether. So really, it's like, if they did take your brain and give it to someone else, it would no longer be your brain. Because what are you? You are the conglomerate of all of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and personality traits. And so if they rob you of that and give it to someone else, wherein they can just transpose all of their personality traits on top of it, then it's not really like it's you, is it? It's kind of like they just borrowed your brain and transformed it for a little bit. So that is my long and convoluted answer to that question. Yeah. X Velocity. Sex before marriage? Question mark? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't say that, like, yeah, you should definitely have sex before marriage. I mean, it's a personal thing. If you and your partner don't want to have sex until you're married, then don't have sex until you're married. But if you do want to have sex before you're married, then do it. Like, I really don't understand the big problem with this. It's like, do what you want, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, who cares? Like, it's not that big of a deal. If you want to be sexually active, go for it. Go nuts. I have no right to tell you otherwise. And if you want to wait until marriage and just stay virginal life until then that's good for you. At least if you are doing something for a religious reason, I can at least respect the fact that you're sticking with it and you're saying, I'm going to actually do this and not have sex till I'm married. So part of it, when I see people who are like that, I'm kind of like, oh, that's so stupid, they're missing out. But then on the other hand, I think, like, well, you know, if they're going to believe in something, it's good that they're at least taking a stand for it and not actually just, like, flaking out. So that's my stance on that. I think everyone should do whatever they want. So maybe not the answer you're looking for, but that's it. I'm a pussycat. Wants to know my biggest regret in life and or biggest accomplishment. Biggest regret, I don't even know. I mean, I have so many regrets in my life, as most people do. If you don't have regrets, then you're not learning from your mistakes, and you're doomed to repeat them. So everyone should have some regrets, but I'd have to think about that, really. I don't know what my biggest regret would be. I really don't know. It's a difficult question. As far as accomplishments, I guess this YouTube thing is a pretty big accomplishment. Like, I'm not even one of, like, the big, huge YouTubers, but it's pretty freaking cool, the fact that thousands of people listen to me talk about inane, innocuous, ridiculous BS all the time. And I think that's really cool. That's awesome. And to me, it's like an achievement. It's like an accomplishment that happened. Like, I don't know. I guess that would be my answer right now. Maybe that's just because in this mindset, as I'm doing this commentary, I'm thinking about YouTube, so I'm placing that in higher regard than it truly deserves. But that's what I would say right now. I mean, it is pretty cool. This is something that most people don't do in their lives, and really, most people never have an opportunity to even know what having a fan feels like. And it feels awesome. It's cool to have someone who likes you enough to spam you with messages on Xbox and want to play with you. And as much as YouTube commentators bitch and moan about that, they still have to admit, yeah, that does feel good when someone wants to play with you to that extent. You're like, wow, so I must be doing something right. That's really cool. So I guess that would be the accomplishment there, just knowing that I'm impacting people, at least in some tiny way. Like, I don't know, I guess it's cool to think that maybe, just maybe, like, some of the other words that I say won't just be thought of as just like, oh, that's kind of humorous, or oh, that's mildly amusing, but people will be like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good comment. I should think about that more. So I don't know, at least that's been my goal more recently. I really enjoy talking about topics that are more in-depth and kind of responding to topical or social issues and whatnot. And from what I can tell, it seems that my subscribers, you guys are liking it a lot more. So I'm game. I'm down to keep doing it. Topic, Kush. I just did a video, that's clearly a joke, about marijuana, and I guess I could link that in the description. I guess I will. So check that out if you want to hear my topic standpoint on that, sir. And for the other question, why don't you believe in God? I guess I could answer that just with a question, why do you believe in God? I mean, that's just as simple. Why is the default position belief as opposed to non-belief? I could ask you, why don't you believe in leprechauns? And you're clearly not going to have an argument against leprechauns, and the fact that you cannot present a cogent argument as to why leprechauns don't exist doesn't mean that we should all believe in them until someone does. The default position for any stance in any belief set is non-belief. You don't believe until sufficient evidence is proven to warrant the belief. And so that's my answer to that. I would just ask, why do you believe in God? So there's that. X, Fluffy Drew X. Why is your YouTube name X Capone? It is X Capone because my old gamer tag was Al Capone, and it turns out that when I got into this YouTube thing, I searched the name a few times and found that someone else had a name called Al Caponage, and I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh shit, I thought I had such a cool, unique name, and it turns out I don't. And so then I just switched it up, changed my gamer tag to Mercadurka because it sounded really funny at the time, and I never imagined that it would turn into something as big as it is now. If I did know that, I definitely wouldn't have chosen Mercadurka just because it's so goofy. But yeah, so that's why. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please leave a rating if you did, and I love you. Bye-bye.